Hey. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm Blake Hotchkiss with the Association for Vascular Access, and joined with me today is John Bell. Welcome, John. You're going to be speaking this Wednesday. Really excited about this. This will be a little bit of a break this summer, but back to the webinar series leading up to conference, and no better way to kick it off than my old pal, John Bell. So, John,
Hey,
tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you well.
well, my claim to fame is that I worked with Blake when we were both junior burger nurses, and we kind of came up in vascular access together, and the coolest thing, one of the things I remember as a big step in my career was the day that we got in my truck and drove all the way across Maine to attend a meeting and start a vascular access, mobile vascular access company.
Yeah,
And that was a kind of a big step for both of us. It led
yeah,
to us getting more involved with AVA, getting our vascular access board certification, and becoming who we are today. So,
yeah.
but
Catalyzed our career.
yeah, somewhat similar to you, of course, I started out in emergency medicine, and I actually started out on the ambulance, moved into the ER as a nurse, um, and then a major thing for me was going actually kind of burning out in the ER and going over to the OR and learning how to do procedural stuff, learning how to scrub, learning how to maintain sterility in a sterile field, and then doing vascular surgery in the OR with the vascular surgeons, and then coming back to the ER and just realizing one day I had some skills that I could use from the OR in the ER to help make things work better, make them run smoother, make them more sterile, make them better. And then also at the same time, just taking what I had learned from watching vascular surgeons doing microintroducer access under ultrasound, and saying, I think I can do the same thing with an IV catheter, and figuring that out, and being able to help patients. And to me, the biggest thing is still the patient that says, hey, every time I come to the ER, I get stuck 8 times, and don't feel bad if you don't get it the first time. And you go get the ultrasound machine, you recognize that the patient's not lying to you, believe your patients, and get the ultrasound machine and get it the first time and see the patient's face light up. Nobody ever gets me the first time. And I, like a lot of us, I used to say, oh, well, I cheated. I used an ultrasound machine. And then I realized one day it's not cheating to do good patient care. And why would I message that to the patient? I just said, yeah, we have this technology, and I love to use that technology to make your care better. I'm sorry you're sick. I'm sorry you're in the ER, but hey, we got you access now. We got your blood drawn. We've got a way to give you medication, and happy for that. You have a good rest of your visit here in the ER. Uh, and so that's a big thing.
Yeah.
As I got more involved with AVA, eventually I was privileged to be able to be on the board, and I'm finished up partway through my 4th year on the board, and privileged to help direct the association, help work for the members to make sure the association is doing everything it can to make your membership valuable,
Yeah.
and to carry forward the mission of protecting the patient, educating clinicians, and saving the line.
So this Wednesday, you're going to be talking on the I Save That webinar series, talking about vascular access expertise. So tell our audience a little teaser about what to expect on Wednesday. And I know right now we've got a ton of people registered for this event, and I want to put a special thanks out to Eloquist, who's sponsoring the event and making it free to attend to anyone, members, non-members. So it's free to attend, free to register, and certainly if you haven't registered yet, check out the link in the description of this video. There's a link there to sign up today. So Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 on the West Coast. And so, John, tell us, give our audience a little bit of a teaser. What's
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be talking about this. I appreciate Eloquist sponsoring this for us, for all of us. I just, and I'm excited that so many people have already signed up because I think it's, sometimes when you have an idea about talking about something, you're like, does anybody, is this me being silly? Does anybody else want to talk about this? So it seems like there are people that want to hear this. I just got asking myself the question, what's the difference between just a vascular access specialist? Because a specialist is just anybody that specializes. So anybody that gets hired on a vascular access team is now a specialist. Their job is to specialize in vascular access. But whether they know anything or everything, they're a specialist. But what's the difference between just the run-of-the-mill specialist and the real expert, the person that really knows what is the best line for that patient, the best access for that patient, the one who knows the evidence, the one who's able to drive change in their facility. And because if we don't know what the difference is between those two, how do we know how to move ourselves along that continuum? And the great thing about that expert continuum, and this kind of goes back to Dr. Benner and the novice to expert idea in nursing that we all learned in nursing school, unless you graduated before 1970 when she wrote that. But the nice thing is there's no terminus to that, right? You don't become an expert and just stop learning. As a matter of fact, part of being an expert is that you continually learning and improving, and that's all intrinsic, and nobody's forcing me to learn and improve. I'm just doing it myself out of my own desire to be better at what I do and to be better for my patients. And so how do we, what's the difference between those things, and how do we set ourselves up to move towards being more expert in our field? And so I did some research. I looked at some papers. I just learned more about just the concept that gets encapsulated as knowledge, skills, and ability. And then asked myself, I've had the opportunity and the privilege again to travel around and interact with a lot of vascular access specialists and experts. And so, where do we see that play out, and what can I learn? What can other people learn to move themselves along with that?
Like you said, it's not once you're in the role, that doesn't make you the specialist. It's the dedication and the time, the tricky situations, the challenging scenarios that really define our experience and expertise in that, because that's one of those things. Like and it's interesting. I love watching YouTube videos, and especially on productivity and improving and becoming an expert at different things. And it's one of those things that they talk about is not just time doing the thing, but meaningful work and repetition that contributes to our expertise. So thank you, John.
Yeah, that I still don't know what to do with that Gladwell, the 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Certainly, it's controversial sometimes. It certainly seems to play out, and what we see. I know you've dealt with this, Blake, because I know when we were working together, we would see this. People would watch you place a line and say, "Oh, that's pretty easy." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's easy for Blake because he's done." This is the 3,000th peripheral IV that he's done under ultrasound. And if you think that you can, my favorite that I always talk about was when the pre-op area called me up and said, "Hey, can you come over and do a huddle and do a 10-minute huddle and teach us how to do ultrasound IV?"
Yeah, easy peasy.
Yeah, I said, well, I can come do a 10-minute huddle about why it's not a huddle subject that
Yeah.
we're going to just teach you in 10 minutes and you're just going to go do it.
Yeah. Got
Um,
this.
yeah.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to seeing you speak at our event on Wednesday, and look forward to seeing everyone jump on. Looking forward to the comments in the chat, and the follow-up surveys that we have, because that really drives a lot of the content that we produce for you guys, or try to attract to our I Save That webinar platform, the podcast series, different educational offerings by the association. We listen to that stuff, and we do our best and to produce that for you, or at least make it available. So with that, again, if you haven't registered yet, links in the description down below, and I'll take us out. So well, thanks again, John, for jumping on the Facebook Monday today, this Facebook Live event, and we look forward to seeing everyone on Wednesday. Again, it's free to register, free to attend, whether you're a member or not. A special thanks to our sponsor, Eliquest, for making that possible. And you can check out the Association for Vascular Access anywhere on social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And like I said, if you're a big YouTube fan like me, you can also check these out there as well. So thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you Wednesday.
See ya.